Have you ever heard of a queen who single-handedly brought an empire to its knees? Not once, but twice. This isn't a fantasy story. This is the incredible, true story of Queen Trieu Thao Trinh, a Vietnamese warrior who stared down one of history's most powerful dynasties. Our story begins in the 3rd century AD, in what is now northern Vietnam. The region was under the brutal rule of the Eastern Wu dynasty, one of the 3 kingdoms that emerged after the fall of China's Han dynasty. For the Vietnamese people, life was filled with oppression, heavy taxes, and forced labor. Rebellion was brewing, but it needed a leader. That leader emerged from the most unlikely of places. Trieu Thao Trinh, known to her people as Lady Trieu, was no ordinary woman. From a young age, she was different. While other girls were learning domestic skills, she was studying martial arts and military strategy. She was said to be 9 feet tall, with a voice like a temple bell, and a spirit that could shake mountains. When her brother tried to persuade her to marry and settle down, she famously declared, "I wish to ride the winds and walk the waves, slay the big fish of the eastern sea, clean up our frontiers, and save the people from drowning. Why should I imitate others, bow my head, stoop over, and be a slave? Why should I resign myself to menial housework?" These weren't just empty words. At the age of 19, she saw her people suffering and decided she had had enough. Her brother, a local official, was hesitant to rebel against the mighty Wu Empire. But Lady Trieu's passion and conviction were infectious. She convinced him and other local leaders to join her cause. Soon, she had an army of thousands, all inspired by her courage and fierce determination. In the year 248 AD, the rebellion began. Lady Trieu, dressed in golden armor and wielding 2 swords, rode into battle atop a war elephant. This image alone was enough to strike terror into the hearts of the Wu soldiers. She was a brilliant commander, leading her troops in over 30 battles against the colonial rulers. Her tactics were bold and unpredictable. She would appear where she was least expected, her army striking like lightning before melting back into the jungle. For months, she and her forces drove the Wu out of their territory, liberating one district after another. The imperial court was in a panic. This young woman was dismantling their control over the valuable Jiaozi province. They had to stop her. This was her first major victory. She had successfully pushed back the empire and carved out a free territory for her people. The Wu emperor, Sun Quan, couldn't let this stand. He sent one of his best generals, Liu Yin, with a massive, well-equipped army to crush the rebellion once and for all. This was the empire striking back, and they were bringing their full force. Liu Yin was a cunning strategist. He knew he couldn't defeat Lady Trieu's guerrilla forces in a direct fight in the jungle. So, he used a combination of overwhelming force and psychological warfare. He blockaded supply routes, hoping to starve out the rebels. He also spread rumors and used tactics designed to demoralize her troops. The fighting was intense and dragged on for months. Lady Trieu and her army fought with incredible bravery, but they were vastly outnumbered and outgunned. The sheer scale of the imperial army began to take its toll. Despite winning many skirmishes, the strategic situation was turning against them. It was a war of attrition, and the empire had endless resources. Faced with the inevitable defeat and unwilling to be captured and humiliated, Lady Trieu made a heartbreaking decision. After fighting to the very end, she took her own life on Tung Mountain. She was only 23 years old. Her death marked the end of the rebellion, and the Wu dynasty re-established its control. So, you might be thinking, wait, she was defeated in the end. How did she defeat an empire twice? This is where the story takes a fascinating turn. Her physical resistance may have ended, but her spirit, her legacy, became an even more powerful weapon. Her story wasn't forgotten. It was told and retold, passed down through generations. She became a symbol of Vietnamese resistance, an immortal goddess in the hearts of the people. Every time a foreign power tried to conquer Vietnam, the story of Lady Trieu was invoked to inspire a new generation of fighters. She became a rallying cry for freedom. Fast forward about 300 years to the 6th century. Vietnam is now under the rule of another powerful Chinese dynasty, the Liang, and just like before, the people are suffering under oppressive rule. A man named LS Bai rises up to lead another rebellion. His goal, to throw off the shackles of the empire and establish an independent Vietnamese state. And who do you think was the spiritual inspiration for this new revolution? Lady Trieu, The stories of her courage, her defiance, and her love for her people fueled the LSB's movement. By keeping her memory alive, the Vietnamese people had preserved the very essence of rebellion. They drew strength from her legend, believing that if a young woman could challenge an empire, so could they. LSB's rebellion was successful. He defeated the Liang forces and, in the year 544 AD, established the first independent Vietnamese kingdom in nearly 600 years, naming himself Emperor LS Nam Dien. This was Lady Trieu's second, and arguably greater, victory. Her physical body was long gone, but her spirit, her legacy, had directly inspired the movement that finally achieved her ultimate goal, freeing her people from imperial rule. She had defeated one empire in life, and her legend had defeated another in death. Today, Lady Trieu is revered as one of Vietnam's greatest national heroes. There are temples dedicated to her, and her story is a fundamental part of Vietnamese history and culture. She is a powerful reminder that true influence isn't just about winning battles, it's about inspiring people. It's about planting a seed of freedom that can grow for centuries, eventually breaking through the hardest stone. Her legend proves that one person's courage can echo through eternity, giving strength to countless others and ultimately changing the course of history. What an incredible story of defiance and legacy. It really makes you think about the long-term impact of our actions. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as inspiring as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more hidden histories. See you next time.